Good evening. My name is Jocelyn Sefik, and the article I am refuting today is on gun control. Gun control is a popular current event and topic of discussion among many American citizens and politicians. The title of this particular article is Why Gun Control is Not Enough. The main points of this article states that all guns should be banned and continues to explain why they should be banned. There are many arguments in this article as to why America should repeal the Second Amendment and take guns away from all people. The author of this article is Jeff McMahon, a professor of philosophy at Rutgers University, and author of The Ethics of Killing, Problems at the Margins of Life, Killing in War, and the Value of Lives. However, despite McMahon's credentials, there is not enough evidence in this article for a prima facie case. A proposition of policy is used within the first few paragraphs of the article when McMahon states, quote, "The United States should ban private gun ownership entirely or almost entirely." McMahon states that if widespread gun ownership had the robust deterrent effects that gun advocates claim it has, our country would be freer of crime than other developed societies. Our entire country would not be freer of crime because the statistics show that cities with fewer gun laws have lower homicide rates than cities with more gun laws. For example, Washington, D.C.'s murder rate has risen 200% with a 300% rise in handgun-related homicide. Handgun use went from less than 60% of killings to 83% of killings since enacting a virtual handgun ban in 1976. No gun law in any city, state, or nation has ever reduced violent crime or slowed its rate of growth compared to similar gun sanctions. This leads to my second point. McMahon states that since gun advocates have guns, the unarmed should arm themselves, and this will only lead to more problems. To quote McMahon, quote, "People who would once have gotten a fistfight instead shoot the person who provoked them," unquote. He is showing presumption that everyone with a gun will at some point shoot an innocent person that doesn't deserve it, and that everyone that owns a gun is a criminal or a lunatic. However, those who file for a concealed carry weapon license, or CCW, must go through extensive background checks, not be convicted of a felon charge or other criminal acts resulting in jail time, and then take proper safety courses that are taught by certified concealed carry instructors, most being current or former law enforcement officers and those with a military background. These classes talk about the proper ways to handle firearms and how to store weapons. They also cover the rules and regulations that come with carrying a CCW. These individuals must also take psychological testing as well before being issued a CCW permit. If an individual does not meet one of these requirements, then they are not issued a CCW permit. McMahon also presumed that gun owners are careless with how they contain their guns at home when he states, quote, "And with guns so plentiful, any lunatic or criminally disposed person who has a sudden and perhaps only temporary urge to kill people can simply help himself to the contents of mom's gun cabinet," unquote. What makes kitchen knives any different from guns? Are they too not considered a weapon? What about a hammer or a simple item as a child's baseball bat? These items have also been the cause of crime and murders, have they not? These items may too be found on the kitchen counter, Dad's workbench, or little Timmy's bedroom, unlocked in the open and ready to use. Guns, on the other hand, are locked away in the gun safe, with a combination or code that only the operator of those firearms can use to unlock the safe. These firearms are stored with the safety on, unloaded, and the action open, making it visible to all to see that the firearm is indeed unloaded. All these safety requirements are taught at the safety courses that take place in order to obtain a CCW permit. A statistic I found was that 800,000 to 1 million deaths are prevented each year because of rifles. A point that McMahon makes in several parts of this article is that the more private gun ownership of guns, the more obsolete the police become. This is untrue because the police show up after the crime has already been committed. This is especially true for large rural areas where it can take 30 to 40 minutes to get to the remote part of the counties. Example, the Chardon High School shooting, the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting, the shooting at the Aurora, Colorado movie theater, and Columbine High School. Calling 911 is what happened after the crime had already been committed. The police showed up after the damage had already been done. And did the police get there in time? Unfortunately not. In fact, a survey from April of 2013 of more than 15,000 verified law enforcement professionals confirm almost unanimously that the proposed gun legislation will not help. Denny Payman, who is a sheriff from Jackson County, Kentucky, states, quote, "How can I rightfully in my own mind and in my heart come in and take guns away from people, and that is their protection? They can call on their cell phone or I can say I'm en route. I could be talking to them and a guy kicks in their front door. I would rather them be armed and able to take care of themselves. I can't get there quick enough to help those people. My best help to them is to let them keep their firearms. McMahon also states presumption that criminals will follow gun laws. Criminals do not follow the laws that we have now. So what makes anyone think that they will follow new laws about gun control? Common sense tells us that they won't. They will continue to break the law no matter what that law is. He believes that, quote, when most citizens then have the ability to kill anyone in their vicinity in an instant, everyone is less secure than they would be if no one had guns other than the members of a democratically accountable police force. However, as stated previously, many police officers would rather the American citizens arm themselves because that is an effective way to defend yourself before the police are able to get there. This also relates to his presumption that all people with guns will eventually randomly shoot innocent people, and everyone that owns a gun is criminally insane, as I stated previously, and this is by any means not true. McMahon states that, as with nuclear weapons, we would all be safer if no one had guns, or rather no one than trained and legally constrained police officers. However, criminals will always have guns and will always find a way of getting guns, despite any anti-gun laws. It's not the gun, it's the person behind the gun pulling the trigger. We need to hold the person responsible, not the gun. To quote Sheriff John Cook of Weld County, Colorado, the criminals aren't getting their guns from stores. They're getting them from other criminals. In conclusion, there is not enough evidence here for a prima facie case. There are many presumptions that are not entirely true according to gun facts and morals of gun owners, or need further elaboration to justify the argument. More guns will not make the police obsolete because police are for after the crime has already been committed, and many police officers believe that people should be armed and able to defend themselves before they're able to get there. Criminals will always find a way to get guns no matter what the law is. I will leave you with a quote from politician Rick Saxton. There are two kinds of animals in this world, predators and prey. No one watches a leopard chase down a gazelle and deny that the gazelle has the right to use its hooves and horns to protect itself from the predator. But there are people in this room tonight and all across the country who deny that same right of self-defense to other human beings. Such people seem to think that the way to stop the leopard is to cut the horns off the gazelle, that by somehow making it easier for the predator will simply go away. My friends, this is insane. When you make it easier for the predator, you only get more predators. Thank you.